So hey anime fans, the series name is What If Naruto and Helluva Boss. So let's start the series. Naruto, exclaimed a black-haired boy in his late teens, dressed in a black pair of pants secured by a purple rope, a dark gray sleeveless top, and black sandals. Sasuke, shouted a teen with spiked blonde hair who was the same age as Sasuke, wearing an orange jumpsuit and had birthmarks from whiskers. Over the valley of the end, a clash of voices echoed. Two buddies who had turned into adversaries engaged in a final struggle as they faced up against each other. Chidori. Rasengan. An orb of black energy encircled the two former comrades as a spiraling sphere and lightning strike clashed. The clashing energies were so chaotic that they tore a hole in reality, sending both young men into the rip. A man wearing black robes and a mask who appeared to be from a city got up and left through a gate he made. Goetia Castle, Pride Ring, Hell. Can you watch over him for me, Lord Stolas? I did my part, the man said, staring at Naruto as he left the room, his eyes looking like that with red eyeliner, his long fox ears on top of his head, and 9 fox tails with claws at the end. Through his torn clothes, there were black markings that resembled tribal tattoos, and there was a bulge in his pants. As a young girl Owl saw a boy with fox whisker marks, she said, "Hey Dad, what made the hole in the roof?" She went up to pet him and grinned as she heard him purr in delight like an animal's purr. Stolas smiled and said, "It seems he's a new arrival in Hell Octavia," to his 14-year-old daughter, who then noticed her mother was still motionless. Gazing at the white snow owl Demonis, Octavia asked, "Is Mom going to be okay?" "Yes, sweetie, just as soon as the spell wears off," Stolas replied. After an hour, when Naruto opened his mouth to yawn and flash his fangs, he saw a pair of blue eyes with ripples and slit-like pupils. He blinked his eyes and felt something on his chest. Looking down, he saw Octavia sleeping. A sleeping owl demon girl. Well, not the first time something like this happened to me, he thought, then noticed one of his tails, the fur at the ends of which looked like claws with 3 fingers and 2 thumbs. What on earth happened to me in the name of the sacred, redacted, dish that is ramen? Naruto yelled. 6 pairs of eyes were staring at him and the girl on his chest as Naruto looked at the entrance. "Oh, redacted, Kit, looks like you're in hell," he said, blinking at the voice. "Kurama," he thought, "where are you? You sound close." While Stolas and Stella watched Naruto converse with the katana on the other side of the door, Naruto asked, gazing around at the katana. This boy, he seems to have a lot of power for a sinner," said Stolas. Stella stared at the boy and said, "So, you've noticed it too, and that katana, one of the imps tried to put its blade but only to be set on fire. And boys, or it not giving off the normal emotions that every sinner has, his sins are at peace within himself," Stolas said, "it like a calm wind, but he also gives off a warmth like the sun. No wonder your daughter finds him a nice spot to take a nap," the mask-wearing demon said. "The owl demon, hello, call me FS, long story short, I'm a god that the big guy up there doesn't see as a god. I just came back to see if the kid was okay," FS instructed Naruto to look at each other. "Ah, how cute, remind me of the time I'd woke on in an Amazon village, where the leader's daughter was sleeping on me. But your daughter isn't a 5-year-old girl, Lady Stella, if you would with something to get thing in order with the boy," FS replied. Then, noticing that Naruto was staring at them, Stolas opened the door and entered. "So, I'm guessing you have some questions," as he produced a booklet, Stolas inquired. Years later, Uzumaki Naruto, dressed in a sleeveless black zip-up hoodie with orange rim lines on his back, his clan's crest, a red circle with a black spiral, olive green pants, a black belt with a demonic belt buckle, and 3 weapons, two semi-automatic handguns at his back and one holding Kurama on his left, are still wearing Konoha and black boots made of metal steel with two toe spikes and one spike at each heel. As he opened Stola's door, Octavia jumped and hugged Naruto's chest. "Naruto, I have a job for you. An acquaintance of mine needs protection, and with your skills I think you'd be perfect for the job," Stolas replied with a sneer. Naruto said, "Sure," while preparing. Stolas stated bluntly, "My little owlet, you need to let him go." Octavia had a fondness for lying on Naruto, stating that she enjoyed how warm and soft he was when he slept on him, and he, like his wife, found it troubling, even though he didn't frighten Naruto with shouts and threats like his wife did. "Thank Owl for all your help," Naruto said, grinning at Octavia as she sulked at having to leave his side. Stolas smiled and added, "Oh, don't worry, my little owlet. I got him a phone so you can text and talk. You know I'll have to turn this off during work, but I'll call when I'm done." Naruto responded to the grinning owl girl after discovering that he had more than a dozen messages on his phone in less than 10 seconds. Later, Naruto, Octavia remarked as she left. "A hellish parking lot. Okay, but where is the individual Stolas mentioned?" Naruto told himself, she should be at this motel, as he approached one. He sighed and laughed when he received another text from Octavia, saying, he liked the owlet, he did, but she was obviously very possessive of him for some reason. She so was that club of yours," Kurama chuckled. Naruto then struck the wall with an emotional moment, saying, "Ow." Naruto remarked, "Can't be helped, I one good-looking demon." He was absorbed in his thoughts when he failed to see a fast limousine approaching him, colliding with him, and pinning him to the motel's wall as it parked in a space adjacent to the property. Naruto glared at her, his eyes a deadly shade of red. With a humorous tone, the woman added, "Oh, nice look." Naruto responded, "I'm your protection," and he pushed the automobile ahead. As she suggestively licked her lips, the woman murmured, "Hot and strong bonus. Are you Verosika?" inquiring as to whether he could murder her if she wasn't the person he needed to protect. Naruto. Verosika responded, "Yes, I'm Verosika Mayday," putting her palm on her hip and striking a posture. Kurama claimed, "Great Stolas sent us to work for a brat." Naruto twitched in response, grabbing the katana containing his friend's soul and placing it in a tiny green frog wallet. "You, get a timeout now," Naruto muttered, inserting the katana into the frog's mouth. "Sorry about him, I'm Uzumaki Naruto and that was Kurama," Naruto said, closing his wallet and grinning romantically at Verosika. The succubus flushed and felt his slit begin to moisten. "So, starting today I'll be your protector," Naruto said. "Take," the pop star inquired. "Ha," Naruto uttered. "I assume you're new to hell, so let me assist you," she added. "The heaving got into me," Verosika remarked as she re-entered the limousine after taking a sip from her flask. According to Kurama, she wants the D. Naruto grinned when he saw Kurama wearing an angle robe and a hello on his head. "Well, hell is better than heaving, knowing my luck I'd go crazy up there with nothing to do and you be with me," Naruto remarked. At the moment, Naruto wanted to smash his head against Verosika's car door. This lady was so unbearable one moment, and the next she was virtually offering to redact him. Verosika looked at Naruto and said, "Come on, Whisker, let's see how much of a beast you are." "Shouldn't we first talk about the job?" Naruto inquired, worried about the girl's insane behavior. Verosika said him, ineffectively and without providing any meaningful information, "Pretty simple, you're my protector," as they began to stroll to a bar. "What do you do that calls for a guard?" As they approached the outside dining area, Naruto inquired. Don't you know that I'm a pop star? Verosika inquired in astonishment because most people knew who she was and would use their bodies as a carpet to lie on the ground so she could walk without destroying her new shoes. Naruto pointed to himself and remarked, "Not really, never got into music before I died and became this." With some curiosity, Verosika remarked, "Ah, that's rare, most people who go to hell become regular demons, not the first of a new species." "I'm the only hell fox, what?" With a grimace, Naruto inquired, considering the other creatures he had observed below, that fox demons might exist. Verosika waved her hand and remarked, "Well, there are hellhounds, so you won't stand out too much, Foxy." Naruto put the imp down and said, "Oh, sorry about that, they have mind of their only sometimes," as another imp ran towards them after noticing that they were going on a date. This imp is male, has red skin, white freckles on his cheeks, white pointy hair that leads up to his curvy black and white striped horns, yellow scara with black slit pupils, a long red thin tail with a quadrilateral barb at the end, and lanky digitigrade legs that end in what appear to be cloven red hooves, resembling an artiodactyl. He is dressed in a navy black coat with red buttons and white cuffs, black pants, a white shirt with a black turtleneck, a large red bow tie around her neck, and another on her head, as well as fingerless gloves. The black-haired imp answered, "No problems, I happen to sometime write." "You're fortunate that I didn't break your neck," Naruto remarked as he wrapped his tails around his body. The white-haired imp said, "It's okay, enjoy your date," without realizing that he was with Verosika Mayday. As she pulled Naruto to an open seat, Verosika remarked, "He'll definitely will, come on Foxy Mama, going to show you some fun tonight." At that moment, she noticed Naruto's headband. "Anyway, Topsideer, what fault did you commit to be sent down here?" "And as you see, due to my soul was linked to Kurama, who is a being of destruction and hate, as well as having killed many people, that when we die, he and I had transformed, I became what you see now, and Kurama became a katana," Naruto told her as she approached him, her cup squeezing his arm. The pop star asked Naruto, who had looked at her, and he smiled at her, telling her about his life story, including the good and the bad, and how he had died. As their waiter departed to fetch their dinner, Verosika remarked, "So that's why you're here. I just thought, because of that headband of yours, you'd killed for a living, good or bad." "How come you said that?" As she took a sip of the wine a server had brought her, Naruto questioned, "Isn't that headband a representation of Shinobi Village?" "We get some of them here, and they can also have family down here," Verosika inquired. "I was born down here, because of their chakra they had when they were alive." "Thanks for telling me that, I might run into an old friend," Naruto said as one of his tails patted her thigh. "Hey Maxwell, can we get 2 shot glasses and a bottle soju if you have it, if not hard liquor," Naruto said, reading their waiter's name tag. The waiter returned with 2 plates of steak, steamed vegetables, and mashed potatoes along with 2 mugs of beer. "Oh, I had heard that alcohol was one of a no-no, in the Shinobi Code," Verosika replied. "Women and gambling are vices to be wary of," Naruto said, "but I'm in hell, so a toast to an enchanted life in hell with entertainers, strippers, and drinks with my new friend Verosika," he said, raising his mug towards a beaming Verosika who approached him to whisper in his ear, "You can call me," Naruto said, grinning, "haha." "Kit Rex this, redacted." Kurama laughed as Maxwell returned carrying a bottle of soju and a 2-shot glass. Naruto took Kurama out of his change purse and said, "Thanks, and if you have, can I bring a barrel of alcohol, if not a clean trash can, and pour rum in it?" "Right away, sir," he responded as he walked away. "The katana can drink." "Yes, he can, if I get him drunk enough. He goes to sleep, our mind are linked, so if I get a hangover and he doesn't, he gets whiny," Naruto replied. And this is the only way I can interact, with the outside world being seal and humans is hell unto itself, stated Kurama. When the waiter arrived, Naruto pulled out a 20 and handed it to Maxwell after he stabbed her with the blade while he was pouring the soju in the shot glass. Maxwell remarked, "Thank you, sir." He pulled out a 50 and held it in his outstretched hand. "Oh, Maxwell, those two imps outside, could you give them a slice of cake as a way to tell them I'm sorry?" he said. Maxwell stated, "Understood, sir." Verosika remarked, "A demon with a heart of gold. What if you were on a date and someone did it to you?" When Naruto asked her. "If it was someone like you I wouldn't mind, but I do see your point," Verosika responded. Later that evening, the bedroom of Verosika's penthouse apartment. After several months. Now, Naruto has no problem with people drinking or even getting drunk, but when someone is completely shit-faced 7 days a week, it becomes a problem for him, especially if it's his partner or companion. He's not sure what their label would be other than wild and intense, but that's not the point. Naruto sighed when he saw Verosika like this, completely and utterly drunk off her, redacted. "Alright, I'm done." After another bender, Naruto said, setting her down on her couch. "You know you like your party girl, so come on, Foxy," Verosika slurred. "I'm tired of putting up with this nonsense because I want you to be happy and healthy." With a stern expression on his face, Naruto stated, "Oh, mentor," redacted, "what are you going to do?" She made fun of him. Naruto's voice echoed as he said, "You have two choices, you can either go to rehab or you're cut off from," redacted. "Why, you're not serious," she blurted out in amazement and a little fear because she couldn't bear to be separated from her tutor. "Verosika, I'm extremely serious. I don't mind that you drink or even get wasted, but you need help every single day. You don't need to stay in rehab for long, just long enough to stop drinking on a daily basis. Could you please do it for me?" "Okay, fine for you, but first I have a problem," Verosika groaned, turning green as she turned to face Naruto. "And it is?" Naruto questioned her, raising an eyebrow. "Beer is returning," Verosika yelled as she dashed to her penthouse's balcony and threw up what was left of Naruto's, redacted, along with a variety of rainbow-colored pieces. Naruto caressed her back and sighed, "What a lovely rainbow." "Hey, you skank. What the," redacted. "Oh, some of it went in my mouth," a voice shouted from below. While wiping her mouth, Verosika remarked, "I think I puked on my ex." Nice. The same ex that ran 3 rings to anger, maxed out your credit cards on tacky horseback riding lessons, stole your car, and left you to pay for the motel room, since they began, redacted. Naruto had heard this story about her ex every day, so he asked. "That asshole, indeed," Verosika said. Naruto took her hand and said, "Great, that's a last hurrah before I take you to rehab, babe." "Baby? Now, what are we, lovers?" Verosika chuckled and inquired. "So, we're like, what the devil do we know that I consider it?" he asked, without looking at her adorable smirk. "Well, I figured friends with benefits, but I didn't think you actually loved me enough to give me a pet name that's so cute," Verosika said. He told the succubus, "That still doesn't answer what we are. I feel like we're beyond friends with benefits." As they entered the elevator to exit the building, Verosika remarked, "Let's just say we are lovers and I allow you to," redacted, "other girls if you find them worthy." Naruto inquired inquisitively, "Wait, you're okay with that?" Verosika smiled while pinching his cheek and remarked, "Oh sure, my mentor needs relief while I'm in rehab." "That's true," Naruto chuckled, acknowledging that he had somewhat embraced the sins of the flesh since Verosika had taken advantage of his inexperience. I might call Octavia to see if she was to go out, plus see if I can a new job while I'm out there, Naruto remarked. Okay, but can I ask one last thing before we go, our separate ways? Take you from behind railing your, redacted, while I drive you to rehab, Naruto said, leaning her against him. She answered, yes, please, in a sweet voice. After telling Kiki Verosika's manager, one of Verosika's singers, and her and Naruto's lovers that he had taken her to rehab, Naruto spent the next few days looking for a job. He then pulled out his phone and called Stola's house after seeing a piece of paper that read, "Immediate murder professionals." Stella's voice said, "What the, redacted, do you want?" "Hello to you to Stella, do you always yell at the people who called your house phone, or you just know it's someone that won't take kindly to you? I mean, think about it, if it was the Prince of Darkness," Naruto replied. Saying, "Oh, it's you, the stray fox, what do you want, Stella?" "Nothing from you, but I was trying to call you husband, I need information about a place I think of signing up for work," Naruto replied, "just tell him I'll call him around 9 p.m. Naruto interrupted, "Do I look like," by hanging up on her. The statement, "I am a, redacted," is true. Stella called him on his phone and asked, "You're baster, do you hang up on me?" As he hung up on her, Naruto asked, "Did it sound like this?" He then proceeded to the IMP building location, while Stella was experiencing an emotional moment. Over the phone, Stola stated, "So, I heard you're looking for a job, Foxy." Naruto plainly stated, "This better not be an offer for something that involves a gimp mask," having heard what Stola's was into. He managed to make Verosika appear submissive. No, I only have eyes for a certain imp, speaking of which he has a business now and he's hiring right now, and I think as an ex-ninja you would thrive at this job," Stolas replied. Naruto informed him that he was now paying close attention to the Goetia prince. "Well, they're basically contract killers, they go to the human world and take out targets for the deceased in hell who want revenge or justice or maybe pie, I don't know, you mortal souls always seem strange to me at times," Stolas replied to him. "This is the new company that has that grating, redacted, radio jingle?" Naruto inquired. Stolas grinned and continued, "The exact same, and I heard my impy wants to do a TV commercial too." Naruto grinned as he hung up, saying, "Well, it's better than nothing since I'm bored, so text me the address and tell Octavia hello for me." With a smirk on his face, Stolas texted Naruto the address and went to his daughter's room, opening the door since he assumed she was too busy listening to her music to hear him knock, especially since her room was soundproof. "Oh, dear Naruto," when the door to Octavia's room was unlocked, he heard her voice. He turned to see his daughter having sex in front of what looked like a shrine to the hellfox he had just spoken to on the phone. Stolas was too stunned to talk when he saw his daughter in front of him. He genuinely didn't want to talk and be seen by his daughter in this circumstance. He went away from the door after carefully closing it. Since he didn't anticipate his daughter becoming so, redacted, like him, Stolas thought, I think her meeting Naruto was a bad idea in retrospect. I should call Naruto at some point and have him take care of this before Stella walks in on Octavia in that situation, he thought, before trembling at the thought of his wife and daughter fighting over something like that. It would be apocalyptic. With Naruto, now dressed in a black jacket, slacks, black shoes, and a blue button-up short shirt, Naruto exited an elevator and noticed the IMP office down the hallway. According to Naruto, "Hello doggy. Who's got the balls?" the woman snarled angrily. Naruto grinned and added, "Sorry baby, I meant to say hello, Wolfie." She blinked a little in surprise as she glanced up at him. She muttered, "Woof," at his appearance, height, romance, and everything else. Naruto winked and added, "My name is Naruto, but you can call me at any time." "Name's Luna, you must have a massive set to say that to me, most would just piss their pants in fright before I tear them up," she said with a sneer. Naruto informed her that, "They seem like they need their eyes checked." The male bartender looked at Luna and said, "Hey, Luna, something came out and someone is coming for an interview, so Blitz, Millie, and I will." "Oh, you that hell for the bar," he added. "You to be acquainted?" Luna inquired. "Long story short, I'm from a different world, and when me as well an ex-friend of mine had our last battle, our attacks cause a hole in space and time," explained Naruto. "Wait, that was you? We thought that was the yearly purge that happening eerily these years," stated the female imp. "Yeah, well, I was working not on a date, but it had turned into one. But to end the story, she in rehab to get her life in order, but she did say I can see other girls, but I just need to ask her first," Naruto stated while gazing at her eyes. Then Naruto took his gun and fired a bullet at a gun that was aimed at him by another red imp, who is tall for his species and has a harlequin-like appearance. He has red skin with white blotches of different sizes covering parts of his forearms, chest, and tail, as well as the majority of his right side of his face. His irises are red, and he has a heart-shaped skull symbol on the middle of his forehead. This is Blitzo or Blitz, and he has fairly broad forearms and hands, as well as a long, narrow head with black spines on his head and upper back. His tail ends with a triangular point that has a black spot at the tip. Naruto remarked, "So, you're Buggy, Stola's imp lover." "It Blitzo, and that was just one time. You two did it twice and once I'd walked in on both of you," stated Naruto. Luna said, "Oh, geez, you saw all that." Naruto remarked, "It was like looking at the redacted of God." Luna patted his head and said, "Poor baby." Naruto grinned at her and said, "Anyway, I heard from Stolas that you're looking for some workers, and I do have prior experience killing with this type of job, one of them being a former shinobi, as well as a trainer." Naruto said, putting the two down, as 8 of his tails grabbed Blizto and the white-haired imp. "Whoa, they put me down," the little imp said, and they proceeded to push, pull, and twist the imps. "And if you need more hands, I could always make more," Naruto said. "Oh, wow kid, you got the job, but stay away from my daughter, or else," replied Blitz. "Blitz is, redacted, off," Luna shouted. Naruto told her, "Wait, he's your dad. He adopted when I was 18. "Oh, you got adopted at age 3? I was kid out of the orphanage that keep my in a shade at the backyard," Naruto giggled. Luna looked into his eyes and questioned, "Oh, did your caretaker try selling off those who are 18 to a group of bad people?" Naruto recalled that day and remarked, "No, but she did try to have the orphanages take care of a group pedophiles last time I heard that, how she was caught and killed." When Naruto hears that name, his eyes enlarge. "Good riddance, my caretaker Miss Yamo, tried to do that as well," he remarked, interrupting her. "Does she have red hair, and looks like an ugly pug of a woman?" "Yes, wait, you're saying that you know her?" "Now her she keeps saying that I would never amount to anything that was I'll go back to hell for the demon I am," Luna heard Naruto say. "Well, she was right in a way," Blitzo said with a smile. While pulling out his frog wallet, Naruto said, "Yes, but also wrong, my soul was connected to a demon, or I should say a bijou." He opened it and removed Kurama, who was sleeping as indicated by a snot bubble, saying, "I'd taken on some of his looks, and he became a weapon," adding, "If anything, I was maybe going to go up there or be judged when I did die, so the joke was on her. Hell, I do count as a hellborn." The words, "Anyway Blitz, that job you have to do," were spoken by Luna. "That deepens. Are the two of you going to, redacted?" here in the office. Not or work hours, work mode is on when working. Last thing I want is to look bad in the boss's eyes, remarked Naruto. Luna said, yeah, what he said, before heading back to his office. Naruto grinned at her and continued, now after hours there would be a different story. How about next Saturday night when they broadcast that the new Deadpool movie starring Ryan Reynolds is playing at Pride Te emotive momenter. Naruto pulled out his phone and snapped a photo of her when Luna asked, are you sure your partner would love the fact you're going on a date with someone else? I did get permission to go after other girls with her say so, and I'm sending your picture. I'm also dating her manger that was also one of her singers. Luna asked him, you're dating an idol, when he was signing some documents. Naruto remarked, yes, she's a pop star, and I'm lucky she fell on me. Pop. Kurama remarked, yawn what happened who this, redacted. The, redacted, you called me. Oh, sorry I mean who is this female dog, that I can smell that she's an inexperienced, Kurama said. Naruto returned the paper worker to Luna and remarked, it's unfortunate that we're a package deal. And you just lose your sake for the day, Naruto remarked, placing Kurama back in his frog wallet. And Hoshi isn't a fan of him as well either, he added. Luna said, so, you mind helping me with other paperwork? Naruto remarked, work or just work, as he examined the paper containing the bills. I think I can also get of some more clients from the top side that might have jobs for us. Luna remarked, you have connections up top. Then Naruto had an idea. Here, let me use your PC for a bit, he said as he approached Luna's side. I'd traveled around the 9 rings because I was dying in hell and in a strange way, made me a hellborn, so yeah, I made some friends with the loco demons as well as higher up, so if any of them need someone died up there, Naruto said. What are you doing? She asked Naruto, perplexed by what he was doing. I took of a few things under Guy and Greed that I helped out. He taught me a few things. One of them was investing. He is also the guy who's my bank management as well as other document. I can make it that you guys don't to worry about some of these payments. Just make sure Blitz sign this as well as reading these papers first just to go over them. It was just make it to the point. He won't overspend the company's money, Naruto stated as he began printing out multiple documentaries. When Millie, Moxie and Blitzo were drenched in blood, a gateway appeared. Oh, you that fox demon from that bar, Millie remarked, observing Naruto and Luna on the computer. So, what are you, Luna, doing? Millie asked. Helping out with you guys, bills. Luckily, I have this friend in the Greed Ring I'd helped out with back in the day who I asked him to email some documents to help you with your money and I can help you pay off the bills, but Blitz need to sign off on some documents that make me a company partner. That means I've the same power as Blitz in a way. Millie questioned, was it really that bad? Some of the bills were overdue. One was your and to pay it off Blitz put your home on a mortgage, Luna stated. Blitz, exclaims Moxie. Thinking of one of the other houses he purchased, which he uses when Verosika, Kiki, Coco, Apple, Milky, and himself used to crash when they were close, Naruto remarked, I got a place you imp can stay. It has a nice room, a backyard as well as blast doors for the New Year's purge. Moxie inquired, are you giving it to us? No, but you can stay there for a bit cleaning the place. We haven't used the one in Pride Ring in years. And Blitz, if you break it, I'll take back the book that Stola's lent to you, to use. Understand if you get in trouble, he gets in trouble. The old owl took someone like me and after a god of destruction saved my life, so don't cross me, Naruto replied. Luna then handed the papers to her dad. I read this, it has no string attached, but the consequence are the ones you should look into it, remarked Luna. Blitzo explained, oh, not bad, so if I cross you, I'll everything, after reading the paper's repercussions. You can be a, redacted, to anyone outside that doesn't work for us, but when I come with customer and clientele you need to be an ear to them, not a rear end, Naruto replied as he looked at him. But I have a medical disorder that could kill me if I don't stop my toxic behavior, Blitzo added, pulling out a medical authorization disorder card ID. It's called TBS, toxic bowel syndrome, she continued. Oh, if that the case, just do it, but didn't overdo it, remarked Naruto. Blitz said, oh, okay, where do I sign? Luna gestured for him to sign the paper before giving it to Naruto, who did so and removed a stamp. Naruto pulled out a black document envelope and red wax, saying, okay, everything is in order, I'll hand these over to the city hall once everything is in place. The moment Naruto stamped the red wax into the envelope, it exploded into flames. Naruto said, now, thank you for your time, I'll see you all tomorrow, I'll bring donuts, and then he got a text from Kiki that showed her wearing a Dutch barmaid outfit and a picture of Milky in a cow print bikini. Would you love to help me milky this cow, big boy? Kiki is a tall succubus with long smoky gray hair, red skin, long tail, yellow sclera, and red eyes, while Milky is a short stack succubus with short hair, soft pillowy fat lips, and a nice, redacted, to smack. Naruto responded, well, I know what I am doing tonight later, before vanishing. Foxy Studios is fortunate. This studio building, which was part of the wealthier area of the Pride Ring, was one of the many buildings he had purchased. In Pride, it could serve as both a recording studio for Veronica and her crew and their home if they were fined for anything. Naruto was emerging from his bathroom wearing a white bathrobe, followed by Kiki and Mikey, who were also wearing bathrobes. Looking at Kiki, Naruto asked, so how find a new protector going? Will, there was a man here named Vortex, who his friends call Texas. He is skilled at his job and has received excellent feedback from previous employees. Looking at the recording of each protector who took the test, Naruto asked, how did he do in the test ID for the crew? They were placed in simulated fields based on random events that could occur in both the top side and the rings down here. They were also given a VR headset, and in a way, they were replacing him as their bodyguards. They simply laughed at our VR clones' deaths, Milky said. Tex was the only one too far with only a few of just being somewhat hurt, no death on real-life mode, she said. The answer they pick on each of you on he to handle your, said Naruto. As she embraced Naruto, Kiki remarked, Vortex gave to his heart. Naruto asked, what system did he go with, as he and Kiki sat down. As she sat on Naruto's lap, Milky explained, the buddy system. Naruto remarked, he passes, call he tell him he gets the job, tell Coco and Apple to pick him training, while the child and he watched Netflix. The sinner opened her eyes to see Naruto grinning at her. Hello, I'm Uzumaki Naruto and you are? Naruto questioned the new female sinner, who flushed when he called her lovely. Well, they did call for a chance of rain today, but a beautiful fallen angle, the sinner said. I'm Jessica Mayberry, she murmured as Naruto laid her down on the ground. She then glanced about before turning to face him and asking, where am I, what happened to me? Let's start with how and why first, okay, but not here, Naruto said, letting out a breath and placing a palm over her head. Hey, Kiki, Milky, this is Jessica Mayberry, you mind watching her, Naruto said, opening the back car door of an off-road vehicle with a Gatling gun turret on top. Milking licked her lips and murmured, sure, thing big daddy, while glancing at Jessica. Kiki grinned at Naruto and said, once we drop you off at work, I'll take her back to our home in Pride. Naruto shut the car door after Jessica exclaimed, devils, as she climbed inside. "We are succubus, your luck that Naruto caught you, in his soft long, strong tails of his," said Milking. Sinner asked, "Is he a demon?" "No, he a kind soul that was deal a hard life," Kiki replied. In the rear, Kurama remarked, "It's not my fault that his father sealed me in him." The cuisine was. Did that katana just spoke? Jessica asked, glancing at the source of the voice and saw a katana with a fox head for the guard. "Oi, I was once a demon that could have destroyed this entire city with one swing with me own tails. Hell, I'd run hell until I was kicked out of here back to my original world," remarked Kurama. "He, just mad 'cause of what happened to him." Naruto got into the car and left. "Okay, you're in hell, where all the sinners end up when they die. In here you can either be under someone of take charge of life. When I was alive, I'd was a shinobi here I'd use the skill I gain in life to, but you can stay with use. If you want just do a little housework and I'll see if I could help you find a job. My job could use a new secretary, but I'll have to ask me boss first," said Naruto. Jessica inquired, "Where do you work at?" "Immediate murder professionals, where sinners go to hire us for revenge, being betrayed by an old friend, killing a target that killed our client, you get it," stated Naruto. "So, Jessica, how did you died?" Milky inquired. "Foxy was in combat, his final attack causes him to fall to hell, he was dying when Lord Stolas found him as well as a strange being, save him." Naruto continued, "Anyway, there are a few things we'll have to talk to you about," as they arrived at the IMP building. "But that will have to wait until next time," he said, and they parked. Jessica noticed Blitzo emerge. As he handed Kiki and Grope Milkies, redacted, Naruto remarked, "Good morning, boss. I brought donut well. The big box is ours, the small one is the bag belongs to my girl. Tell Baba I know she can do it." Milky remarked, later Foxy, as Naruto picked up Kurama and laid it on his back. "Was that a sinner at the back seat?" Blitzo inquired as the off-roader vehicle pulled out of the parking lot after Kiki closed the door. "Yes, she just got here today, let her go through the 7 stages like anyone else." As he and Naruto walked out to their office, Blitzo remarked, "Oh, you know you can get news from the human world right? Good morning, I'd brought donuts, the good kind, not the ones from the cheap place that are as hard as a rock," Naruto said, holding 6 boxes of donuts, looking at Moxie and Millie as Luna as he entered their conference room. Naruto looked around, "Is that a human youngster in hell?" Moxie said, "Long story morning Naruto, thank you for the donut," while he snatched up a jelly cake. Millie stated, "Yeah, we got the wrong target." The first imp paced around with his tail swinging behind him and said, "Not now, Moxie, I have a few things to say." "Okay, so I know that business has been a little slow recently, but it's no one's fault, okay?" When the second imp shot him a perplexed and accusing glance at his employer, the imp remarked, "I'm not naming any names here, Moxie. Now, does anyone have any clever suggestions about how to revive business? A vehicle wash, how about it?" The female imp said, "Millie, this is hell. Nobody gives a damn about the cleanliness of the automobiles here. What about a billboard, huh? 2 targets for 1 deal, the same price for 1 target, but we could charge them if they want to record their target being killed," Naruto replied. With a, "Okay, that might work, Millie." "Plus," Moxie remarked, rolling his eyes, "we can't afford a billboard, sir." Naruto remarked, "Not with that attitude." "Naruto right, Mox," Blitzo replied. "You can't get anywhere, in life, just mope around." Naruto responded, "Or bottle of all that anger, heck punch me right," and he held his hand out to Moxie, who gave him a fast punch to the palm. Naruto looked at his boss and remarked, Wow, that was so weak. I'll train him later. Weak damn Mox, and pick up some weights. Kurama, who was seated next to Naruto, stated, let the kid say he can train you. Moxie remarked, did that katana just talk? This is Kurama when I was a baby, he was seal inside me, he was a giant nine-tailed fox, known as a Biju, stated Naruto. Blitzo remarked, so, talking katana that was once a kaiju. Biju, said Naruto. I've got to pay him. No, he and I are link, you just pay me think of him as my conscience that I could you to kill demons, replied Naruto. I was your persona demon that your father sealed in as a newborn. Your first gift that your dad gave you, was a nine-tailed fox that amazing, stated Millie. Only you and the Kits girls can use me, anyone else I'll be using them, Kurama stated. By that he'll be controlling them or setting them on fire, remarked Naruto. Holy, redacted, said Moxie. Cool, remarked Millie. Naruto pointed to the young boy and remarked, I was made in to be the village version of a nuclear weapon of war, plus this little, redacted, been faking be in a comma or whatever. Only so these, redacted, head don't kill me, the boy replied. But now I want death, he shouted, rousing Blitzo, Moxie, and Millie. And you too, Ak, he said, but stopped as one of Naruto's tails grabbed him. Hey Luna, mind opening the portal, he said. After saying, sure, Naruto, she heard her infernal phone ring. Oh, redacted, that the client turns out he's the target. Him, said the imp. Me, the boy gasped. Blitzo stated, they want us to kill a child. Luna remarked, yeah, and we get more money if we record it, and Naruto grinned while grabbing Kurama. Naruto released Kurama's blade and opened a portal, saying, yeah, hold for skit shooting, don't want to get shot and let me open a portal. Say when, Naruto added, as the gateway was high in the sky, over the Hollywood sign in Los Angeles. Blitzo grinned and yelled, pull, as Millie and Moxie pulled out their guns. Oh, how about bodyguarding work, high-ranking nobles, Naruto remarked, passing the boy along. I don't know kid, that seems like a... When Naruto said, think of the money, Blitzo responded, okay, putting that up, at the water cooler. So, what you said in the confronts room, do you think can train me to get stronger, replied Naruto. If you want my training, you'd be wishing for death. I'll put you through all the 7 sins, but I'll have to unlock you chakra, explained Naruto. Chakra is it that the hippie, redacted. As he created a Rasengan with his hand, Naruto remarked, it physical and spiritual, oh god, and does sound like that, but our people weaponized it. Before Blitzo could react, Naruto slammed the spiral ball into a wooden tab, creating a spiral pattern all over it. Oh, Blitzo muttered. You just heard me say, we'd weaponized it right, anyway I could take him an old airport I own in the topside, or one of my warehouses, replied Naruto. You have a place of in the topside, and thank for that house you gave us, remarked Moxie. No problem, it belongs to my partner. It was one of the ones she wanted to get rid of due to the fact she had it with her ex-partner. A bad split? Moxie inquired. Naruto said to him, I don't know why, not asked Blitz, hear about Verasika Mayday. Millie looked at him and remarked, you're dating Verasika Mayday, and you dated a pop star. Blitzo remarked, you and my ex-partner, glancing at him. After saying, yeep, dating, right now she in rehab, I can't have been drunk all her life, Naruto shocked Kurama by striking her head with a crushed Blitzo. Ow, he said. When Naruto received a text on his Hell phone, he looked down and saw that it was from Coco. That was for breaking her heart, he muttered. The new girl tried to cut herself, the redacted, is still alive, we're going to help her tonight. Hey Blitzo, remember that sinner I was with this morning? Yeah, Naruto remarked, think you can hire her, as he left the office. How can you get out of hell, Naruto? Moxie inquired. As he ran in place, Naruto remarked, I think it's kind of like a loophole we can use, because chakra made my people like a hellborn. I'm going with Blitzo, Fatty watched the dusk all coming back, remarked Luna. According to Millie, things are going to be different now. What do you mean? Well, one day Luna is acting like a totally redacted pain, sir. Next thing she'll be wearing less punk goth look and well, Millie remarked, Naruto's cloth look looking up a webbing dress. Wait, Looney, return. Blitzo uttered. Moxie remarked, you did that on purpose. Millie remarked, what are you going to do about Moxox, as she leaped on Moxie. So, you do know you just left two horny teenagers, alone right? Asked Naruto as he and Luna were in the elevator with Blitzo. Please, Moxie doesn't have the balls to do that in the office, Blitzo responded. No, Moxie, but what if Millie thinks she should do that? Naruto inquired. Oh, redacted, I'm going to have, burn the desk, Luna replied. Well, we come do that on your desk. Blitzo said, no, nope, no will touch my loony. Shut it or I give you to Stola's or worst your head to his wife Stella, threatened Naruto. With a, enjoy you boy toy Luna, Blitzo walked out of the elevator doors. So, how are you going to see this sinner? Ladies first, Naruto said, as Kurama's mouth opened to let the bijou turn katana and cut the area in front of them into black void protel. Simple, I can teleport, Naruto said. As Luna entered through the dark void gate, she said, wow, aren't you a sap? Naruto entered the portal grinning and added, that just makes me sweet, in response. LFS. As Naruto glanced at his living room, it resembled the scene of a violent break-in at a SWAT team's location when Veronica, Naruto, and the rest of the crew were hosting a redacted party that one of their neighbors, Karen and Kevin, had invited them to. Crap, looked like at time we got swat by that ugly troll Karen and her redacted, husband Kevin, Naruto stated. Wow, I heard about Karens, they all were finding their way down here, stated Luna. Luna, everyone goes to hell, I won't be surprised if children with no blood on their hands go to heaven but then get kicked out once they hit 13, stated Naruto. Luna remarked, you think that as well? Oh, nary you here. Luna jumped up on Naruto's arms as she looked at a succubus with medium-length blonde hair tied in a high ponytail with two bangs framing her round face, large pink eyes with yellow sclera, muted pink skin, a long pink tail with two black marks on the outer edge of the arrow tip, two small wings on her upper back, two skinny horns with black tips, and sharp teeth behind her cheerful smile. She is wearing an open purple and pink strip zipped-up hoodie jacket that was open to show her B-cup braids in a that was big on her to a point she could hide her hands. Her open jacket shows her she has on a black strapless bra that was proudly shown through her denim overalls that stopped just below her buttocks, showing off her toned legs and red blood design near the straps, two small bracelets on her right arm, and designer strap heels. She had a tattoo of a snake coiling around her left thigh while going through a bitten apple. Above her, redacted, is the Uzumaki family clan mark tattoo. Who the hell is she? I think she's a reincarnated member of the Pi family from MLP, her name's Apple, last name I don't joke is Pi, Naruto replied. With a squeaky smile, Apple remarked, well, that author that being my last name when read The Pop Star and the Violinist. Okay, that was weird, Luna remarked. An incubus with a Hispanic accent, sporting a stylish hairstyle, two skinny black horns, and a long black tail with muted red skin, wore a sleeveless maroon hoodie, blue jeans, and dark shoes. Yo, Naruto bro, that new girl just wants Demon Lord when she turns on the TV, and then she found the SNN, and when she found out that the woman that her husband was emotional moment with was still alive, bro, she wanted total loco, they said. The incubus. Naruto flipped their coach to reveal two incubi embracing in terror. This Luna, she a new friend from work. We came to see Jessica to see if she willingly works for IMP, as a desk work, he remarked. The first incubus wore a dark gray shirt with a red wolf head design, long black pants, black dress shoes, and a black choker. His eyes were pink with black slit pupils and dark yellow sclera, and he had two small black demonic wings on top that were swept to the left, with the back of his head and sides shaved down to reveal the black roots of his hair. He also wore a tattered black shirt with a silver anarchy sign on it, showcasing his toned abs. His tail began red at the base of his spine and gradually faded into black until it reached the arrow-shaped tip. Despite his size, he had two skinny black demonic wings on his back. Luna remarked, I thought you said she was cutting herself. Naruto told her, the 7 stages of grief, it's no joke, and that everything was broken, smashed, and burning was undone when he snapped his fingers. It's okay now, Josh the newcomer is calm down now, Naruto stated to the gay pair. Whoa, is that chakra stuff or just one of your Hellfox's abilities? Luna's questioned him. Naruto told her, it a bit of both, before heading out to locate Jessica. Oh, how awful is it? Naruto inquired. Her name isn't Hiro. She went completely crazy, bro, Cat yelled. Thank Cat, Naruto said as he opened the door to find Jessica larger and more menacing, with 6 raven wings, panther arms and paws on her upper arms, rows of sharp teeth, and bloodshot eyes. She was also breathing heavily, and her dress was torn because she had grown into the side of a van. Naruto said, Hello, Jessica, I'm here to listen, grabbing her attention. She attacked him, but he grabbed her face and his tails grabbed the rest of her body. You are not a monster, you're a forsaken soul casted away by a god who stopped caring about his children, he said, directing his chakra through her body as she began to transform into a succubus instead. When Jessica sobbed, Naruto grabbed her chin and tenderly kissed her lips. Please kill me that, redacted, to everything from me, he whispered. Jessica Mayberry, for your sins you'll live on as my, redacted, woman and my, redacted, as well as one of my demon breeds, do you understand me? Naruto uttered. What do you say? Jessica inquired, unaware that her legs would return to normal. From now on until the end of time I be your king your god, and you mentor, Naruto stated, if you small terrible X could see what a beautiful woman he had as a wife, or if God can't see that what a good person you are, then God should be here burning in hell for not being perfect themselves. Now the girls are going to take you out and tomorrow morning I'll take you to the roof so you can curse out every last thing that you husband did. I have a friend that could search his file, Naruto stated. Luna smiled and remarked, you're such a sap, but you're right, that does make you sweet. An hour later, returning to IMP. What with the cosplay Naruto heading to Comic-Con, hahaha, Blitzo exclaimed, laughing as a rift in the office formed and Luna and Naruto emerged, now dressed in full dark blue tactical ninja gear armor. Luna took out a file on Mayberry's hit and said, the woman's name is Martha, our client Jessica will be coming to the end of the week to tell you the rest, she will be working off her bill, while Naruto said, I'm doing recon on a hit that we'll be doing for some jobs. Why did we need that, Rico, redacted? Blitzo inquired. Naruto remarked, info, can save our lives, plus something doesn't feel right, yet his tone was typical, it was rough, icy, and shaped like a blade's edge. Naruto transformed into a sparrow when Luna opened the portal, and he flew straight up to her desk, where she had placed a tiny spy camera. "Make it back at the end of the day," Luna said as he passed through the portal. "Okay, that was badass, no joking, even if he turned into a sparrow," Moxie replied. "Did that camera spy?" Blitzo inquired. "And holy, redacted, the heaving is that!" Luna exclaimed as she saw the reminder of Jessica's corpse being used as furniture and other human beings. "Yes, I'd meet Naruto's old coworkers. They used this thing that Apple made. The connection is supposed to be great. I could light up my phone," she said. As he saw the video, Blitzo questioned, "What is Naruto eating, a worm or a grub?" "Oh, God, that's just wrong. Even I'm not messed up," he said. When he arrived in town, Naruto fled after a gun was fired at him. He was looking at a billboard for a low-budget film called Open Gateway when the portal opened and flew straight into Moxie. "Ouch," Moxie murmured, massaging his head and rubbing Naruto the poof back to himself. As he stood up, Naruto remarked, "They have guns, and thank you Moxie, now we need to train." Blitzo questioned, "So, family full cray hillbill killers?" "Oh yeah," said Naruto. When Millie said, "Planning on killing them yourself?" Naruto texted in a group conversation, "Oh, yes ma'am, claw and blade, and then I'm going to show that town that God made a mistake sending Jessica down here." Group for girls' nights. A male incubus responded, "He sluts, can I do it for you?" The two simply nodded at each other before Jessica splattered her shot glass of alcohol in the incubus's face and Kiki stabbed him in the hand with a knife. "Kiki, why do you do this?" Jessica asked. Jessica nodded when Kiki inquired, "What, wasn't that a nod to stab him in his hand?" "Oh, sorry, she's new around here," she said, feeling something vibrate and taking out her phone. "At the conclusion of the week, I'll be training in Wrath Fox for the hunting tell." Kiki remarked, "Oh, sweet, Naruto's not happy." Jessica remarked, "How is that good?" Kiki grinned as she took the knife away and led her to the table with Coco, Apply, and Milky. "What going on?" inquired Apply to Kiki. "Naruto is pissed. Jessica's target going to be hunting when she goes to IMP, said Kiki. "Sweet, we get to hell with Foxy blood interest. We got to tell the boys they have to work of somewhere else that night," Apply responded. "What happening?" "Well, Naruto is not too happy and gets the blood interest, so Verosika help him, but one day his blood interest gets so bad and Kiki during had to stayed over cause her apartment was getting debugged, and well," Coco stated. "I couldn't feel my legs for days, they were turned to jelly, and if it wasn't for my apartment having a redacted," Kiki stated. Redacted. Think rat-size bug that eat everything that not made flesh, dearie. That night Verosika was having a hard time with Naruto interest after he killed a biker, someone trying to kidnap her that day, Kiki explained. "I was the first, Milky, Coco and Apple, that was a different story," Kiki replied with a grin. The boys were here having a prank war on a road trip tour. In the top side when we stop at a hot spring, Cat Switch pranked him by at that time Mikey her was an inexperienced who had a crush on Naruto. Cat switched the male and female signs as well as close male spring for cleaning. After I walked in, he then paid off the staff to lock us in there until, Milky continued, at the time Naruto acted like it wasn't a big deal. She recalled the event. The spring made him a bit drunk, plus did had a beer with him and offered me some to drink. Things were said, then I took me chance. Coco laughed and remarked, Naruto got Cat back, after that by giving him a dead arm. I jump-scared him. In the shower it was cold, Apply said. The reason why, you kept forgetting to put clothes on after. Apple stated, the guys didn't mind. The statement, Cat is bi, Josh and Ace are gay, was made by Coco. Apple remarked, well, you didn't mind either. Ms. I sat on Naruto's face when he was having his first emotional moment, she said. He made clones that took us in an intimate gathering, stated Coco. Jessica questioned, he can make clones. With the words, Naruto can do more than that, Milky, like. Coco remarked, he's excellent in the kitchen. He knows where to hit, where we are sore, Kiki replied. He sure is, Milky remarked as she massaged her shoulders. Apple remarked, he's my gaming buddy and baking buddy. Jessica remarked, my ex-husband never even taught me. In a storage facility, looked at a whiteboard depicting Martha's house and a photo of her and her family, which included Kat, Josh, Ace, Blizto, Millie, Moxie, and a hellhound named Vortex. Okay, any idea on how we get revenge? For Jessica, her hometown thinks Martha is a hero and put Jessica good name through the mud, Naruto said. Why should was care, I mean Jessica is better off her, Josh responded. Naruto remarked, Millie show him, as Millie displayed a picture of furniture used by humans. Oh, redacted, in a basket, Loco, and I thought what you did at with that biker group in the topside on Toko Tuesday, Kat responded. Making them hit brown pants wasn't that bad. Well, you could make it look like a homicide and suicide, Moxie replied. Naruto break is as gas posses as Martha severing Kurama's skull, severing her husband's body in two, writing a message with her family's blood about what she and her family done and what she intended to do to the Mayberry family, and then killing herself. My next one Mox, remarked Millie. I think that won't be enough. What about, and I'm say this caused the house around the deep part of the woods, an animal attack, Ace responded. When the child ran to their house, Naruto's tails grabbed his leg, thrashed the hallway, and wrapped around his body, popping his head off. Naruto then hunted down Martha's daughter, jumping on her and ripping in her throat. In his full demon beast form, Naruto tore Martha in half with his claws, breaking her husband's neck. Anyone else think that could work? However, since Martha is redacted, she may have an STD, and if she does, so does her family, Naruto inquired. You could cook her family and make her eat them, that killed her, remarked Blitzo. Tex remarked, I know a cookbook you can use, and after that tire her body, in the trophy room, said Josh, and wait for the cops. After the police arrived at the door where the bugs were feeding on Martha's family, they discovered Martha half dead in her bully with her family. One of the officers then surveyed the room before putting her in the electric chair. Millie remarked, wait, how about all three? After breaking into Martha's house in his Werfox and beating the redacted, Naruto's family tied Martha's missing body parts, which were fed to her husband and kids, into soup before grabbing her by the neck with a funnel. Enjoy your lunch. After he filled her belly with her family, the demon Naruto stated, she pulled out a rope, tied it around her torso, and was dragged through her house. When she looked around her walls, she noticed the dry blood of her transgressions written in her family's blood. Her mouth was stitched shut, and the words, murder, and adulterer, were written on her bald head. 3 days had passed, and the local police checked on her. Now, Jessica was sitting at her desk in her room, reading her local newspaper with a smile on her face and stating that the hero was a monster. She was listening to music through headphones when she noticed a DVD disc labeled, Feeding Martha Her Whole Family Recipe. Then, in an attempt to drown out the commotion from the next room, she turned the volume up to the maximum. Jessica, when I was young and up top before I'd become this, I was a boy with problems that could be solved pulling pranks in a village run by ninjas, Naruto said, his smile fading as he glanced at the clock. But do you see that clock? He asked, observing the clock from the rooftop. Kiki told me that clock counts down for the New Year purge, Jessica replied. Angels come down here from heaven killing anything that is out in the streets, sinners as well as the local demons, explained Naruto, but only in pride out in the open, that not inside. And it's New Year's Eve, correct? Does that mean that New Year's Day is even worse? She questioned while observing Naruto with his hair blown back by the wind. Yes, it makes a power vacuum, causing ambitious sinner to climb you the power ladder, Naruto replied. I'm not stuck her and neither are you, just ask me and we can leave pride, on that day, Naruto told her. What if we are unable to? Jessica remarked as she looked at her. The outside is built to last riots as well as the inside built a hyper apple, Naruto stated, but I want you to shout out in top of your lungs to that pieces of, redacted, husband what you are going to do now in this new life, of yours, Naruto stated, like so. Redacted, you people who always look down on me, go find somewhere else to sleep tonight cause, you aren't my problem, Naruto yelled. Redacted, you Lance, you no good emotional momenting baster you never once sleep with me your micro, redacted, piece of, redacted, that taking up the, redacted, world worst husband, Naruto grinned as Jessica held up both of her hands with two middle fingers. You'd cared about you students when you were alive right, said Naruto. Yes, I did. What was the reason? Jessica inquired. How would you handle a child who was banished because she was associated with a nightmare? Naruto inquired. Jessica kissed him on the cheek and added, if you were me students, I would help you. Naruto remarked, thank you, Mayberry-sensei, before spanking her, Jessica, for her fat, redacted. When Jessica licked her lips, Naruto grinned and said, Mr. Uzumaki, that's a timeout. Are you able to, redact? When Naruto asked her, he grinned and followed her in as Jessica followed him. The following day.